There's one more thing I wanted to bring up, and that is about the concept of being a mentor. So there's a number of folks sitting around the table who are, they've been members of AOCS for quite some time. They have a lot of different experiences. As I said, pretty much everybody here was a student at one time, was a student member at one time. And there's one person who's not here today because he passed away a few months ago, and that's a guy by the name of George Liepa. And he was a real champion of students. And I just wanted to mention his name very quickly because he's somebody who, when I was a student, and as early in my career after I graduated and became more of an active member of AOCS, was definitely somebody that I would look to as a mentor who helped shape kind of how I got increasingly more involved in AOCS. He was, like I said, he was a professor at Eastern Michigan in the nutritional science area, and he always had time for students to talk to them about whatever, whether it was research interest or how they could get more involved in AOCS. He was a guy that was very instrumental in creating the division structure that really kind of has shaped the annual meeting. He was very instrumental in meeting planning, figuring out what types of technical sessions to be holding. He was really I would call him the father of hot topics. I remember when I was on the governing board and he brought forward the idea of creating the hot topic session as let's reserve some time in the meeting to bring forward some current or some emerging topics that you can't think about a year in advance. They're really like 3 or 4 or 5 months in advance, and let's put together some symposia in order to take advantage of what are some of the hot topics that are out there. So, George is clearly a guy, and I'm sure a number of the professional members that are sitting around the tables remember George in a lot of different ways. I mean, he was actually a very fun guy to be around, very lighthearted, and always had some great stories to tell. The two of us share a common background coming out of Iowa State University, and so we would always talk about, even though he preceded me by, I think about 20 years, there were still some faculty members, believe it or not, that are still there today that we both had coursework with, which was kind of interesting as well.